Hello and welcome to another tutorial video. Today I want to show you how to write interesting and unique bass lines for your death metal tracks or your metal tracks. Or well, how I write interesting and unique bass lines for my tracks. Well, I show you how I write bass lines for my tracks and I hope that they sound interesting and unique. So I'll show you 4 examples of 4 different Nightbearer tracks, but before I show you my general approach. So first of all, when I write songs or when I write bass lines, the whole song is set. So from start to finish, song is done. Drums and guitars I make simultaneously, and bass is the last thing that I add. And after that, the vocals come into. Second, I always write bass lines with the bass in my hands. This might sound strange, but I know lots of guys who write bass lines with a guitar or even just with their fingers into a computer program. And I find I come to more interesting bass lines when I have the actual instrument in my hands. And well, let's be real here. You have to play your bass lines if you want to have bass lines. So always a bass in my hands. Third, with each song or each section, I have to make a decision if I want a melodic approach or if I want a rhythmic approach. I tend to prefer a melodic approach, so my bass lines are rather melodic than they are rhythmic. But when I have a really cool chord riff or where the rhythm is really prominent, of course my bass is more rhythmic, of course. And fourth, I always have to make the decision if I want to write an independent bass line or if I am going to copy the guitar lines. And most of the time, since we're playing metal, I tend to copy the guitar line, but whenever there is space, I try to be as independent as possible. So with this said, let's dive into the songs. And I should make clear, I have written, basically all my stuff is written totally composed in Guitar Pro, and therefore you'll hear some Guitar Pro audio. don't show you the original audio, so live with it. So anyways, first track I want to show you is from Nightbearer's first EP. It's Entrance by Blackest Rites. And here we have the intro riff, where the lead guitar is playing a melody and the rhythm guitar is doing some tremolo picking. And the bass is mimicking the chords, so nothing fancy here. But I play in a slower subdivision. And whenever it's possible, I play in a lower subdivision with bass because the string has more time to actually resonate or to actually, ring. And the tone is stronger in pitch and I prefer it. And it's really awkward. Bass is not plugged into, so enjoy some crappy sound when the bass is doing this. It's dumb. So rather this. Way better. So the next part of the song shows my melodic approach. It's the post-chorus, at least that's what we call it. You could say verse to it. And here the guitar is playing a tremolo riff or a tremolo melody on the low B string. And the bass is mimicking the melody, but only, the actual notes. So instead of going this, we just play the melody. And therefore the melody is emphasized and I get the low bass and basically there is enough going on with the fast drum beat, the fast guitars, and you can listen to it via Guitar Pro. sounds awesome. No, I hope you get the idea. So next riff is the refrain, and here, because this is such an, well, I don't want to say iconic, but it's such a strong chord rhythmic approach, the bass guitar is totally copying the rhythm guitar. So nothing fancy here. The next riff we have here, the guitar is playing some notes, and the bass is constantly playing the low B, and that's because here the bass is used to emphasize this line, because when I repeat this part, so first of all it's just the B, and here it goes to E, G, F sharp, and now in the second the bass is actually playing this part, so it gives a variation, and well, it keeps it interesting. Next part in the song, this song is totally cool to show you how to write bass. As you can see, the guitars are playing power chords, they ring the whole bar, and here the bass has some space to do some stuff, but I didn't want to have a melodic approach, I wanted a rhythmic approach, and therefore the bass is playing whenever the kick drum is playing. And here as well, here as well. Of course it's copying the guitar notes, and this gives an emphasis on the kick drum. It sounds like a unique bass line, which is kinda is. And it's not too far away from the song to distract. Let's hear it. Okay. Another thing you can see here is that I'm playing the, or our bassist is playing the it's an A sharp or B flat, however, and that's because I always try to use the chord note. So the rhythm guitar is actually playing a slash chord, and you could say, well, why do you play A sharp? You could actually play F, and well, this sounds wrong in my ears. I have to have the bass playing the root note, and I let the bass play the root note whenever it's possible. So those are the examples for this particular song. Now we head to the next one, which is from our first full length, A Tales of Sorcery and Death, and the song is called The Gods May Weep. This is a very doomy song, and here I have lots of space for the bass. And here it's actually the first part where there are vocals. It's called B. We are really creative when it comes to naming parts. And here the bass is actually the lead instrument. It plays a really nice melody, at least that's what I think. And well, just listen to it and then we talk about it. Okay. So as you can see, whenever the guitar is playing a long power chord, I tend to play the root note with the bass as well, but in all the space I do some slight variations. I try to limit myself to chord notes. For instance, when it's the B power chord, I know that the song is in B minor, so this would be B, G and F sharp, and therefore I tend to use only those notes, although here we have the C sharp as well. but it's rare that I do so. Mostly it's for melodic reasons, so it's well, a note you have to play in order to make a melody sound good. And here, just, well, basically toying around. Here as well. Okay. So, next one I want to show you is from a brand new song, Forever in Darkness, from our upcoming record. And it's the chorus as well. And here you can see the bass, the drums are playing straight 16ths with the kick drum, and the guitars are playing just power chords, and there is also a melody going on, and the bass guitar is, well, doing its own thing, at least here. Here it's just playing some, well, chord notes. And here it's mimicking the guitar. Here again some chord notes. And here it's actually mimicking the rhythm, the lead guitar. At least the first 3 notes. The 4th note is then the rhythm guitar, the chord, as well as the last note. So it sounds like this. Yes, and you could hear I really like those moody melodies. It has a slight black metal vibe to it, but it's totally not black metal. And here, since every instrument is playing this melody, it's cool that the bass is doing this as well. So that's my general approach for writing bass, but I have one last example. A song that was originally written for the upcoming record, but we thought it's not good enough to be on the record, so maybe we will release it later or maybe never. However, there is, well, actually the part I'm most proud of when it comes to bass, or one of the parts. It's called F. And here we have the rhythm guitar that's playing actually rather boring power chords, and the lead guitar is playing a melody. It's with the root note and the octave, and the bass is doing multiple things at the same time. First of all, it's playing the root notes. Second, it follows the kick drum, kinda, and third, it's doing its own melodies, for instance here, or here. And last thing you'll hear when I'll play you the whole part. Actually coming in F2, the variation of F, and here the bass kind of works like an echo of the lead guitar. So here the lead guitar is playing these D-D-D, and after that the bass is playing D-D-D. That's perfect pitch. And here as well, D-D-D, yes, D-D-D, 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 and the bass is playing this as well. And I'm really proud of this part, and it's a bit sad that it's will be unpublished for quite some time, but the rest of the song isn't as good, so it's totally okay. However, it's a bit sad for this particular part. So those were some examples of how I write bass lines, and as you can see, I try to variate it. Sometimes I do this, sometimes I do that, and it basically totally depends on what the part needs and what feels right in this particular instance. And what's feeling right is, first of all, my ears, what I want to hear, and second, what I feel as a bass player while I'm playing the song. Maybe some parts are actually there because I rather feel bored. I think, well, it's boring just to play this C sharp. And the song has space. It's not that I aren't allowed to play anything, so why not play something? And then I come up with a nice melody, I hope. And when the melody is cool, I imply it, and when it's not cool, I don't. So I don't use melodies to have melodies, but because I think it sounds appropriate. Now I'm curious, how do you write bass lines? Or are you bassists? If you're a bassist and not a guitar player, how do you like my approach? And if you're a guitar player or whatever, how do you like my approach? Just leave it down in the comment section. And if you want to support this channel, you might want to check out the links in the description. And with this said, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. May the force be with you and have a nice day.